Hello everybody, welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation T2T.org Indianapolis 250 here for the International IndyCar League. It is the final round of the season, 12 races are done and dusted, and we have another final round here to go. Today, unfortunately, I'll be joined by nobody. It will be just me in the booth here. Unfortunately, Seb and Jack couldn't be here today due to other commitments and scheduling difficulties for them. So I'll be bringing you all coverage and commentary for the race today. So qualifications underway at the moment as we dive over into the track shots here. As mentioned, this is round 13 of 13 for season 29. A champion will be crowned, but I don't think that is on the minds of a lot of people here for the race today. Unfortunately, apparently on February 21st already, we only just got news of this a few days ago. Longtime league member of the International IndyCar League, iRacer, Richard Kelbaugh, has passed away, and yeah, this race will be running in memory of him, hence the sponsorship for this as well, the Tunnels to Towers Foundation, something he was very much passionate about for the 9/11 survivors and rescue program that happened at that time. More on that in just a moment, but yeah, it's very, very difficult, even for us up here. Personally, I've never really raced against Richard much, a couple of races here and there in this series particularly, but it does kind of hit close to home when you lose somebody with the same passion as you. It's just a video game, but of course there's real people behind this, and to lose somebody is never easy, and especially for the guys that are closest, were closest to him. It's hard to say, but yeah. So with that being said, there will be some different procedures here for the race today. Once I bring the timing ticker up, don't be scared or spooked by seeing Richard's name up on the ticker. Stefan Harding, one of the closest sim racing friends that Richard had, is wearing his name with pride. He will take the field to green in a livery that is the latest we could find of Richard's. So he'll be running, Stefan Harding that is, will be running Richard's livery, leading the field to green. The first lap will be taken by Stefan in honor of Richard, and then on the exit of turn 2 on the second lap of the race is when we will be going racing for real. So the green flag will come out, but there will be no racing, as the league would like to dedicate the first lap of the race to Richard and make him start from the pole position for one last time. So as we bring the ticker up, you will see his name on the ticker. Stefan Harding that is, and once we bring in some more overlays, you will see Richard's name being displayed. But qualifications are underway, and another thing that we should mention is the qualifying boost for the Indy 500 has finally been updated on iRacing. This means that we finally can hit 240 miles per hour into turns 1 and 3 and average lap speeds of 236 miles per hour, so very fast laps. So the race is going to be fast and furious, but especially the qualifications with the cooler track temps as well that this league likes to use. You can see 21 degrees, that is 71 degrees Fahrenheit from the top of my head, somewhere in that range, plus or minus 2 degrees. So very fast lap speeds here for sure. We have a very nice field size as well, roughly an even split between Hondas and Chevys as well, which is always good to see. Yeah, qualifications are complete. We'll dive into the starting grid and then get into the rest of business, as mentioned, in taking the start for Richard in memory of him. So Sheridan Wade, new to the league, previous racer in the VOR IndyCar series as well as some other series. Starts from the pole in his first ever start, so congratulations to Sheridan on a well-deserved pole position. Just a hundredth of a second clear in front of David Stritt. Moving on to row 2, we got Liam O'Sullivan, finished second yesterday at Richmond to yours truly, myself, trading the steering wheel for the microphone again for a change. Jason Lowe lines up alongside him on the second row. Then we got Aman Lau and Matthias Strauss on row number 3. Matthias Strauss running a updated livery, more on that as the race progresses. Dan Ench and Nate Fields, who is also new to the league, on row number 4. And we've got Milan Vogelsang and Matty Simpson, who I believe is making his first start of the series, period. So welcome to him to the league. David Zaleski and Rodin Eveting, one of the championship contenders, on row number 6. Then we've got Mike West and Rick Lovinson on the 7th row. And then the honorary Richard Kelbaugh, Stefan Harding, lines up 15th and last on the lineup. He will move to the front once we get rolling here. So Stefan Harding, longtime friend of Richard, he has been given the honor of displaying Richard's livery on his car. And as mentioned, he will be the one to lead the field to the green flag. We look to get a nice angle of that car here on the screen. There we go, in the stick quick colors. All drivers will grid as normal. The Richard Kelbaugh painted car will pass all cars when leaving the grid and will drive directly behind the pace car. No other driver is to be next to his car. The green flag will come out as normal. No additional pace laps scheduled, though that has been up for discussion, so we'll find out once it happens. And as mentioned, Richard's car will lead the field for the first full lap, and from the exit of turn 2 there will be racing going on. So we'll just take a quick moment to look at Richard's car one last time before it will be retired and the field will set off for the race. Pace car is off. Stefan Harding leads us to green in Richard Kelbaugh's car. And as mentioned, no racing just yet. Got a word written by Dan Ench here. During the tumultuous times of the late 1960s and early 1970s, the LAPD recognized the need to develop an extraordinary tactic combining SWAT sniper personnel with air support divisions, pilots, and aircraft, commonly referred to as aerial platform shooting, or APS. On May 29, 1974, Officer Richard Kelbaugh and 3 others boarded a Bell Jet Ranger to conduct realistic live fire exercises. At some point during the flight, the aircraft violently collided with a hillside before bursting into flames, spilling fuel all over the crash site and personnel. The aircraft burned with all 4 occupants trapped within it as it slid down a steep hillside. Sadly, an LAPD commander lost his life in the tragic accident. Kelbaugh was the most seriously injured survivor of the crash. He sustained 2nd and 3rd degree burns over 40 to 50% of his body, as well as damage to both eyes. He remained in intensive care for some time, requiring numerous surgeries and skin grafts to repair injuries caused by the extensive heat. Sadly, Kelbaugh passed away at his home in Idaho on February 21st, 2026. So Harding pulls Kelbaugh's car in pit lane, and that hands everything over now to Sheridan Wade, the pole sitter. There has been no overtaking on the first lap, and we are officially on lap 3. And the race is well and truly underway. Looking behind to Rodin Eeftink in the 11th position. He is one of the drivers going for the championship in this race. In the Bouglidou Chevrolet for Velocity Online Racing. We'll bring up the championship points situation here. As there you see the championship situation after 12 rounds going into this one. Rodin leads it by 23 over David Stritt. Matthias Strauss just 2 further points back. So those three drivers, excuse me, are in the championship race. And Ryan Bowles and Jason Lowe are still contesting for that 4th place. Though I don't see Bowles in the lineup, so I think that will be going to Jason Lowe. So that's what's at stake here today. Speaking of Jason, running 2nd in line. Behind Sheridan Wade. And so far everybody very orderly and patient. Of course they know it's a long race. Forgot to mention this is the longest race of the schedule. 250 miles, 100 laps. It's about 60 miles longer than your typical International IndyCar League race. As we ride on board with Jason Lowe. As mentioned, running 2nd in line. The Florida Urgent Rescue 004. So coming to the completion of lap 7. No real position changes at the front of the field just yet. And I think Sheridan Wade is going to be in a bit of trouble here once we get to the first round of stops. Expecting 17 lap fuel stints here at the Indy 250 today. And I just turned my phone off. I would have done some calculations. I will get those done very quickly here, depending, considering how many fuel stints we will have. And there will be 6 pit stops for today, which will be expected. So the field single file all the way through. Might be a move for position here with Aman Lal. Not yet. As he decides to stay in line behind Matty Simpson in the number 3. New to the series for this season at least. Don't see a record of him on SimRacer Hub, or maybe I'm just misreading that and just not paying enough attention. Either way, he's doing a solid job up in the 6th position. As David Stritt, one of the drivers who has fallen back quite massively here. David, known for fuel saving races, especially at Atlanta last week, secured a dominant win there at the end of the race. Sat in line for the first 2 stints. And then once he got the jump on everybody on the last stint, he just drove away from everybody. Broke the draft, ran clean laps to the finish and just ran away with the win. As Jason Lowe has now taken the lead over from Sheridan Wade. Here's how it happened. Down the back straight, big run in the draft. And Sheridan opens the door for Jason to take the lead. Swapping positions, that is typical for Indianapolis. So back to live pictures. Sheridan still second. Jason Lowe leads the way. That's just had his second lap of the day. So we look to Roden Eefting now, looking to close up towards the front of the field. At the moment he is doing what he needs to do, and that is stay within a couple of positions of David Stritt, his closest championship rival. But of course he shouldn't discount Matthias Strauss, who is running up in the 4th spot. Rodin looking for the high side, getting a little bit close for comfort to the outside wall. As people are looking to make some moves now as we start to close in on the first round of stops. Of course, we had that first lap without much real racing going on, so I would imagine a lot of drivers took it easy. So I think we'll see the first stint to be around 18 laps for most of these drivers minimum. Maybe even 19 in some exceptions. As Rodin is looking to the high side of Dan Inch, who had a difficult time last night at Richmond. But, if my memory serves me right, still finished the race. Just an achievement on its own, due to how physical that race was. Rodin getting caught 2 laps down under one of the mid-race yellows and was never really able to recover until he spun out of turn 4. So Sheridan Wade back to the front. I would imagine this is just as simple of a pass as the one prior to that was. And indeed it is. Down the front straight. Easy pull out of the draft. Big run into turn 1. Full out of steam. And he gets the lead back. Does Sheridan Wade. So the field's starting to separate just a little bit from the 4th place on back. Nate Field just a few moments ago got up to 4th place as well. Simpson got up to 5th as Matthias Strauss has dropped back a little bit. As Rodin Eefting now gains another spot on Dan Inch. There he is, looking to close up on teammate Aman Lal. And I would imagine Lal is not going to make life difficult whatsoever. We're right on board with Lal. Winner of race 1 at Richmond yesterday morning or afternoon, depending how you look at it, for the VOR Indy Next Series. As everybody sits in line still. Milan Vogelsang in 7th place. He was busy doing some endurance excursions yesterday. If he finishes on the podium, we'll have to ask him how that went. Sheridan Wade is the first to blink. There he is on pit road. So 16 laps is 15 laps even. The end of lap 15 is when he came in. So a bit on the early side of the window for sure, but that's the penalty you pay if you run up front. That hands the lead over to Jason Lowe. Liam O'Sullivan now 2nd place. Jason Lowe is the next one. So pit cycles are kicking off here, and he is bringing a few other cars with him. Dan Hens, David Seletsky, David Stritt, I believe I see on pit lane as well there. So an early stop as well for David, despite being in the back. So that's a bit surprising to see. And I think we'll have more cars coming to the pits, as I think I saw Simpson kind of signaling he was going to try to make his way down pit lane as well, cutting low. Usually universal language for I'm pitting. Maybe he just got a little loose though, so we'll find out, I guess, if he peels off after turn 4. And indeed he does. So Simpson coming down pit road. Oh, it's the top 2, Liam. Well, big dive on the pit entry, and he makes the lead work. Great move under the brakes. We have to get a replay from this one. So down the back straight. We saw signals from pitting in commands by many drivers. Here is that move on the brakes for pit entry. And yeah, once the white line starts, you can brake. And Liam knows this. And he just dives it into pit lane, slows it perfectly down for the speed limit, and he gains the lead. Or does he? Once the pit stop cycle out, he is going to rejoin in third place. Saman Lau and Milan Vogelsang are the only two drivers still left out on the track. And right as I say that, both of them make their way into the pits as well. Dan Enge passed Matty Simpson. So he drops to the end of the top 10. As we watch Matthias Strauss chasing Nate Fields for the 6th position. Down the front straight, Strauss on the inside for turn 1. Should be a relatively easy pass. And indeed it is for him. Move him up into the top 5 positions. As Vogelsang exits all the way down in 12th place, and it might even become 13th. So Jason and Sheridan once again trading the lead. Once again, a reminder of the point situation. Jason is going for that 4th spot, which is almost guaranteed because Bols isn't here. And we got Strauss, Stritt and Evtink challenging for the points lead in this race for the championship. Of course, we'll have more information about the next season of the series here as soon as possible. As far as I know, there has been a meeting, but nothing concrete has been decided on a schedule yet. So we'll hear from that side of things in the coming day or two, I would imagine. Dia Strauss on the move, past Aman Lau, who slots immediately in the draft. Roden Evtink looking as well to capitalize on that. There he is in the 18. And we've got 5 cars running in line here. Dan Enge being the last one of them in the ALZ.org Chevy. On board with him. As Strauss and Lau trade the lead to try and swap drafts towards the front of the field. So the majority of the field pitted laps 17 and 18, so looking for lap 34 to 36 to be the next window. As Lau and Strauss indeed do continue to swap the lead, and they aren't really gaining. The gap has actually grown by 0.3 of a second. Looking at the front, Jason and Sheridan still nose to tail, but not really making any swap moves, which might just be the quicker way around at the moment. Looking a little bit further back, we've got Mike West, Milan Vogelsang in 11th and 12th. Both of those drivers lost touch with the leaders during that pit cycle, and they are in a little bit of no man's land. And I hope they realize they have got to work together to close that gap back up, or else it's going to be quite a long day. Matty Simpson, though, in the meantime, 14th place, might have had an issue. Hearing a word, he got black flagged here. Let's see if we can catch a glimpse of why. Ah! This was in the pits, so that explains it. Would he have sped on pit out? I think the most likely thing is he crossed the blend line here. Yep, he does. 2 wheels over, that's not allowed, so that's a black flag for Matty Simpson, and he was required to drop to the back. And every time we're looking at something else, the lead changes. Sheridan Wade around Jason Lowe once again for the lead. Strauss and Lowe as well swapping positions still, but like I said, they really aren't gaining at all to the cars in front. Upcoming broadcast schedule for the channel here as well, by the way. Next week on Saturday, we got the resumption of the Indy NXT iRacing series from St. Petersburg, as Strauss goes to the inside of Lau again. Then the week after that, we go to Barber for the same series. Both of those races will be at 8 p.m. Central European time. And then in that weekend, on the night of March 28 to March 29, is when the summertime portion of Central European time kicks in for Europe. So races for the official series side of things will move up an hour. The races for the European League, such as VOR, stay the same. Just note that the summertime is in effect. So the race is still at 8 p.m. for the European drivers, and the races will return to being at 2 p.m. for North America. Of course, the time difference for a couple of weeks is only 5 hours from Eastern US to Central Europe, which is a little bit confusing every single year, but we'll work it out together. So top 3 has broken away, then it's fourth on back to P10, sorry, in a single file line as well, and then of course Mike West and Milan Vogelsang a long ways back as well. If you're just joining us, this is the final round of the International IndyCar League Season 29, the Tunnel to Towers Indy 250 by Richard Kelbaugh in memory of Richard. Of course, as mentioned at the beginning of the show, unfortunately we lost Richard on February 21st, which is almost a month ago already. I'm sure he is still on a lot of the drivers' minds here during the race. Richard had the 5th most starts in the International IndyCar League, 23 top 5s, also had 1 pole position. Unfortunately, wasn't able to secure a W, but not a bad record by any means. As Strauss to the inside again of Law, and they slowly are gaining now to the cars in front. It's only about half a tenth a lap, but they're still gaining something nonetheless. As this is the most exciting racing we really have going on. Just a swap for the 4th position. Liam at the moment though, running 3rd, Liam O'Sullivan, saving fuel. Doing what I would do. Just sit behind in 3rd place, save fuel, don't even worry about the lead until the final 10 laps or so. And then try to go for the win. Of course, Liam won the VOR Indy 500 on February 21st actually. On the Saturday that was. 500-mile race, long way. And he came out on top that day. Beating the likes of Kyle Clenworth and myself to that win. 2nd win for Liam at the track in that series. So we got 2 takers for pit lane. Mike West, Rick Lovison closing in on that window once again. Once again as well, Jason Lowe to the inside of Sheridan Wade. And here he comes again, Sheridan to the inside. Keeping the revs up is Jason. For those two looking to swap effectively, and as I say that, Jason is going to come to pit road, as does Sheridan Wade. So once again, very early, those two coming to pit lane together, and that hands the lead over to Liam O'Sullivan. Last pit lap, lap 18, so he is looking to go to 36, is Liam. But 3 laps longer, and that's gonna add up massively as the race goes on. Manlo back to the inside of Strauss. And they are closing the gap to Liam. They've gained about a second. So once this all cycles out, they might even rejoin altogether as Strauss now peels off into pit lane. David Stritt follows him in. David Zaleski, I believe that is as well. Both of those two, the latter two drivers locking up the brakes. But I don't see a penalty just yet, so I think they are in the clear. So now it's a VOR 1, 2, 3. Of course, pit cycles underway. And we are already the first third of the way into this thing. As Rodin makes his way by Aman Lal, so those two gonna try to work together for a few laps, I would imagine. As West gets by Simpson, who is on pit lane. Same for Vogelsang, who passes Enge on pit lane. Milan, I believe, has already pitted. So does Dan have a penalty? Don't see anything on the timing screen. But I think he is okay. And here we go. Race leader in the pits. And the other two VOR cars as well as Nate Fields follow him in. So top 4 drivers on pit lane. Milan Vogelsang coming to pit lane as well. So let's see where this all cycles out. Sheridan Wade, of course, led the race once the cycle started, together with Jason Lowe, those two swapping positions. They have a little bit of distance between them at the moment, so this isn't ideal for them. Depending on how they executed the pit cycle, they might even be jumped. Liam is off and away already. As here comes Rodin on pit out, he is going to rejoin behind them, but Liam might be just with them. And he will be. So the top 3 remain unchanged once this all cycles out. Liam, of course, slow on pit out. He will slot back into position where he was. But he is right with the top 3. And Rodin has actually lost a second in comparison. And Aman Lowe has lost 2 seconds in that whole pit cycle. Of course, he was a second clear of Rodin a handful of laps ago. Mike West past Milan Vogelsang. As David Stritt is in a whole line of traffic. Not sure if this is according to plan for David. It's really interesting to see him this far down in the pack. Maybe he knows a certain fuel strategy we don't know. Let's take a listen. It's definitely interesting. I think he is trying to save fuel, but he's not doing it very effectively, at least not from what I can see and what I can tell from that onboard. He's just too far away to get a nice big suck up to the car in front and be able to lift off the throttle, which of course allows you to save that fuel. So look for David to go a little bit shorter into this run than he did on the first one. The second one, sorry. Back to the front, top 3 still running in line. As Jason Lowe takes a very odd line, I assume to set up a draft run through turns 1 and 2 into 3. So we're closing in on halfway in the race. This is round 13 of 13 in the International IndyCar League. Season 29 finale, championship showdown. Between Rode and Evtink, David Strait, Matthias Strauss, 25 points separating the three of them. And the beautiful thing is we won't know the calculations until the drop weeks are applied on SimRacer Hub. But I think we can make a decent assumption that Roden is going to win it at this rate. Knock on wood, by the way. It's one of my team cars, so I gotta be careful with what I say here. So Jason pops back out into turn 1. Oh! Slides up a little bit more than Sheridan was expecting. And Jason running a high line through turn 2 now. Down the back straight, and Sheridan slots in line. Let's take a ride on board with Sheridan here. Take a listen down the front straight. I think I heard him lift last time. And he does again. So Sheridan clearly committing himself to a bit of a fuel save at the moment. But he's going to look to go a little bit longer on this one. Of course, he was one of the first to pit on the first 2 stints. Lap times are very competitive though. 40.4. Last lap by Roden was a 39.5. He has absolutely closed the gap to the front of the field. Almost gained a full second on that last lap. He is coming. So Sheridan continues to save fuel behind Jason. Here is Roden behind teammate Liam O'Sullivan. In the hand-in-hand and Bugli-Doo Chevys running nose to tail in 3rd and 4th place. If you're just joining us once again, this is the 13th and final round of the International IndyCar League. This is the T2T.org Indy 250 by Richard Kelbaugh in memory of Richard, who we unfortunately lost a few weeks ago. More about the Tunnel to Towers Foundation can be found on their website, T2T.org. Make sure to check it out as well. As we close in on the halfway mark of this championship deciding Indy 250. So Jason Lowe out in front. Still leading the way from Sheridan Wade behind the trees. Sheridan to the inside again. Here he goes. He's releasing himself. He's gonna look to gain some speed. As I assume we are coming back up to another round of stops. Of course, Sheridan pitted lap 15, lap 30, and here he comes. He wants to clear track position. Oh, Jason Lowe late on the brakes. And he hits Sheridan Wade in the rear. And that is damage for the both of them. Let's get a replay from this one. We all clearly saw what happened though. Jason a bit too enthusiastic on the brakes. As we go down the back straight here, Sheridan pops out to the inside to take that race lead into turn 3. And yeah, just way too late on the brakes. Trying to get another slow-mo here. But yeah, Jason extremely high. I think he really committed late to that pit. He's over the blend line as well, so that was always going to be an illegal pit entry. Yeah, I hate to say it, but that's poor. That's really poor. Of course, by no means intentional, but a massive misjudgment there by Jason Lowe, which kind of sums up his season, unfortunately. So Sheridan is back out using the fast repair, which we can view as well on the ticker as we resume live pictures here. Sheridan using that one. Jason up in 9th. I don't see him having used it yet, so kind of gets away with it for now at least. Sheridan did lose a lap as David Stritt is now on pit lane. So let's reset your field here. We're halfway into this thing. It's a VOR 1-2-3 led by Liam O'Sullivan, followed by Roden Evtink, Aman Lal, Dan Enge and Nate Fields complete the top 5. Now we've got a big gap to Milan Vogelsang, who is off strategy and way behind in the pack as well, running 6th. Then we've got Strauss, Lowe, Stritt, Zaleski, West, Lovison, Wade and Simpson, the final car in the race. There's Jason making a move past Matthias Strauss for P7. So we've got Enge and Fields in the pits. Tires and fuel going on and in the car. They're off and away. Jason Lowe hasn't lost all that much in that whole situation on the pit entry. A big loser in that whole deal though, definitely Sheridan Wade, who was running up front with Jason. So one man down at the front of the field, so that's going to make the race for the lead between Liam O'Sullivan and, depending on where Jason rejoins in the whole cycle, with Jason. Manlau on the pits, Roden Evtink as well. So Liam O'Sullivan once again going a lap longer, which is interesting to see. We saw him of course save fuel early on in the run, behind Jason and Sheridan. So it's no surprise he did go longer, but just by how many laps is a surprise. Dragon Racer 13 in chat, hello to you, welcome to the stream. Got 11 people watching the race, welcome everybody. You're enjoying the coverage, make sure to like and subscribe. You've got a whole lot more of it on the channel as well. So a shortage of racing is something that is not in our dictionary, at least. So Liam O'Sullivan on pit out, he's gonna blend in just behind. That's Sheridan Wade a lap down. Yes, he is. He is racing Sheridan Wade for track position, not for the race position. As Sheridan unlaps himself, and Roden Evtink now closing in on his teammate as well. And Aman Lal to the inside of a lapped car. That is, I believe, Nate Fields. Is it not? Might be Zaleski. I think it's Selesky. Yes, it is indeed. So 47 laps to go. Pit cycle is behind us. Still a VOA 1-2-3. Jason Lowe maintains 4th position, which I think is very impressive considering the incident he just had on pit lane. Matthias Strauss in the top 5 still. Not really making many moves at all in this race. David Stritt slowly closing in the gap to the front runners. I see a lot of snaking going on for Sheridan. He desperately wants to hold on to that track position at the front of the field. Let's take another ride on board with David Stritt. So longest active stint is Mike West. He is about 6 laps away from peeling off into the pit lane. The driver with the freshest tires is Liam O'Sullivan. Of course, he will run out in front now. So for him to make another 19 lap stint, I think he did, at some point in the race, is going to be very difficult for him to do. Of course, the more fuel you save early on in the race, the more you can burn up later. So lap 57, let's take a quick look at 10 laps ago. Back to the pit lane entry incident. So we'll show this one final time, and then we'll go easy on Jason here, because I don't think he's going to be happy to see this one back. So as mentioned, he already crosses that blend line right here. So this is where that line starts. Once you cross over that, I believe that should be a penalty by iRacing, and of course charges it in way too deep on the brakes. It's an easy mistake to make, especially when you're racing for position like this. But yeah, very unfortunate incident for Jason and especially for Sheridan, who is now running a lap down. Part of that might have also been the hybrid deployment, which does take away a slight amount of braking capability, especially on ovals. With the road courses, it's a little bit simpler with all the differential settings and the engine braking and whatnot. For ovals, it's just a spool. So Stroud gets up to 4th place. Gets by Jason Lowe. Now it's up to David Stritt to pass for another position. David looking high, looking for some clean air to generate a run off the corner. Alright, coming up to 40 laps to go. So we're closing in on the final 2 rounds of pit stops. And we're about 7 laps away from that window. So of course we saw multiple drivers do 17 laps. That's the minimum you should be aiming for to make it. Last pit lap was 53, so 8 laps ago. So that should be doable, even for Liam, but he's going to have to save just a tick of fuel, which might not be the easiest job for him to do, as I believe he's got some lap traffic in front of him to work with. And yes, indeed, Sheridan Wade is still there in that track position at the front of the field. So that will be a little bit of a break, but not too much. Liam is going to still have to watch that fuel number to make it to the end. Avetink and Lau are doing the same thing, as is Strauss and everybody else. Of course, Avetink, Strauss and Strid, 3 drivers currently running in the top 5, battling for that championship. And there is Jason and David Zaleski going around a slow car. Can't really tell who that is. Let's take another look back to that one. Down the front straight. And that's Strid on Jason Lowe. And I think I got confused myself by a blinking car there. So Jason getting by, David getting by Jason, sorry, excuse me. Jason now in the pit lane by himself, so he is gonna have a tough time to make it. He's gonna have to do 19 laps a stint, which I personally don't see happening, but then again, I've been proven wrong last week as well by a couple of drivers making it to the end, such as Dan Inch in the ALC.org Chevy. On board with him. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way for research against Alzheimer's and other sorts of dementia. If you would like to donate or learn more, definitely go to alz.org. You can see it on the wing mirrors on the side, you can see it on the halo. Dan Inch is a big supporter of that charity or foundation. And we would love to help him out, of course, as well as all the other Alzheimer's patients. So 37 to go. As I said, 17 laps is the minimum you should do. So do that times 2, that's 34. So lap 34 is the absolute earliest side of the window you should be wanting to pit. Preferably a little bit later, 15, 16 lap run, so with 32 to go. That would be ideal, so you can go full tilt to the end. Of course, 55% fuel tanks in this series, 38.5 liters. And from the top of my head, that's 11 gallons. Put it in the bumper before the stream. Just get those in front of me here. 10.1 gallons. Nate Fields in the pits. That moves Jason Lowe back up to 8th place. He's got a nice 9-second gap to Vogelsang, who is 24 seconds back. Surely he is damaged. Doesn't look slow. He's pulling the RPMs on the steering wheel. Very interesting for sure. Liam O'Sullivan drops to 2nd. Wants to save fuel behind Lal, who is in a much better position fuel-wise. And of course I should retract that statement, because Lal was going longer earlier in the race and not on the last run. So I correct myself. Strid and Strauss in the pits. Avetink also by Liam. So I think Liam is really trying to save fuel. to make it to the end. But I think somehow Liam is in a worse position because I don't see Lau and Evening sacrificing their own races for this. Especially not Rodin because he's fighting for the championship in this race. So once the field cycles through the final second to last pit stop, we'll do a quick through the field in just a few moments. Currently on lap 69. Nice. We just passed lap 6-7 as we got the top 3 in the field in the race coming to the pits, as Fields is right behind Jason Lowe. So Nate Fields having a very good run today. Flying the flag for the independent rookies making their first start in the series today. It's Liam O'Sullivan and Manuel Rodin Evening in the pits. So Zaleski and Jason Lowe pitted a few laps earlier, and I believe both of those drivers are gonna jump the top 3 once we cycle out. Gonna be close though. Top 3. Ooh, careful Liam on the pit out. Yeah, that was Liam, and indeed they do lose that lead. So Zaleski and Lowe working together to great effect. As Liam gets swallowed up on the acceleration out of the pits. Let's stay on board here with Liam in the hand-in-hand Chevy. He's gonna have to make the most of his fresh tires to get through these guys. And get back up there with Lowe. Everything to the inside. Ooh, big move for position in turn 1. That was Lowe and everything making their way by Fields. And this is an absolute hornet's nest now in the closing stages of this race. In the final third of the race is where we are. Lowe gets by Zaleski up at the front of the field for the race lead. Those guys continuing to swap together. Zaleski back to the inside, down the front straight. Liam to the inside of Strauss, down the back straight up to P6. As he picks another one off on the fresh tires. So Jason now behind Zaleski. Will he go for it again, or is he going to save fuel? He's going to go for it again. So no fuel saving for those two guys. They know they have to stop again. So they're just going to make the most of it. Of course, as the saying goes, they made their bed, now they got to sleep in it. As Evening closes the gap to the leaders. You can see from his cockpit view, with the last car in between, of might be Simpson. Yes, it is. Simpson running in third in line, 12th position. So 28 to go. In theory, those two at the front could pit right now and make it to the end on just one more stop beyond that. 2 14-lap stints as Zaleski once again back to the inside. Gotta say, by the way, Sheridan Wade is back on the lead lap on merit. Yeah, he's right with those guys at the front. So he's on the strategy from Jason Lowe. So he's doing a solid job up there. running on the lead lap by himself, so very impressive. Hopefully for him he catches a lucky yellow to pull him back up. After that unfortunate pit lane entry incident with Jason. The question though is, for the two leaders, when will they come down pit lane? As Jason once again to the inside. On board with David straight further down in the field. P8, oop, brushes the wall a little bit, that's not ideal. There he is, following Nate Fields, who is running in 7th. So David Zaleski started 11th, currently running in 2nd position. Of course, Zaleski, one of the drivers who is still yet to pit. Gonna have to pit one more time, as is Jason Lowe, who started 4th, currently running in the 4th position at the time of crossing the line last time by, running 2nd now officially. But an 8th up 9 spots, had to start EOL after winning, starting 12th period from qualifying. David Stritt had to start EOL after winning last week. Manlal up 1 spot from the start. Liam O'Sullivan losing 2 spots, but he is right where he wants to be, saving fuel. He was the driver who led the most laps early on in the race and burned the most fuel at that time as well. He's gonna have to pay the price now to make that up and to make it to the end. Matthias Strauss hasn't gained anything at all during the race. Still a decent finish nonetheless, but if he wants to beat Evtink to the title, he's gonna have to do more than that. Nate Fields up 1 spot from the start, so good on him. David Stritt, the big loser at the moment from the championship contenders side of things at least. Dan Henge also down 2 spots, still decently in the top 10. And Milan Vogelsang losing 1 spot. He is way behind the pack, 29 seconds is the gap to the car in front. Sheridan Wade, your pole sitter, peeling off into the pits. He is the first of the 3 people with an extra set of stops to go to dive in. So I think Zaleski and Lowe are going to be in the next lap as well. But Sheridan, of course, taken out by that accident earlier. Mike West running around in the lucky number 13 position. And Rick Lovison, your final driver in the race, still running 14th where he also started. So 23 to go. If they pit now, it will be 2 12-lap stints to the end. Will we see them pit? Yes, we will. Zaleski is the first to blink. A little bit of rear brake locking, but he makes it down to the speed limit, as does Jason Lowe. So that will hand the lead over to Roden Evtink for now. And I believe they will have about 5 laps until their last stop. They will last pitted on lap 70, so that's around 8 laps to go now. I think that's 10 laps ago. I keep forgetting we have an extra lap, which is messing with the lap count here. I keep thinking to 100 laps. It's a bit of a transition to make. Of course, that extra lap was for Richard. Lowe and O'Sullivan side by side through turn 1, getting a little bit close for comfort. As Lowe has to slot back into line. Not able to make a move just yet. We've got Simpson still running. He is going to clear out of the way for Evtink. As Henge gets by Fields because Fields is in the pits. That's just outside the window, so Nate Fields' day for a top 5 contention at least might just be over. Most important drivers to keep an eye on are Evtink, Strauss and Stritt. To go 3 wide into turn 3. Oh! I almost thought Liam was going to wash up into the road in there, but he just slowed it down enough. Ifting did to not run into the back of Liam, and Liam also did a great job to not hit the wall. That was a bit of a hairy moment. Let's take a quick look at that. Liam to the inside of Strauss there, by the way. And Liam doesn't want to pass Ifting to save fuel, and that kind of started off the whole thing. And we got Strauss to the inside there. He doesn't want to waste any time, and yeah, a bit of miscommunication between the two teammates there at the front of the field. So back live, Lal in front of O'Sullivan, Strauss, Ifting, straight the top 5. No takers for pit lane this time by. As we are closing in on that orange marked 17 to go mark. From there on you can make it to the end on minimal fuel saving. Let's take a quick ride on board with Matthias Strauss in the Team Watson Racing setups Honda. And he gets a big run on Liam. Can he go for a man as well? No, just gonna miss out on that in the Reed Rule 1 special one-off livery. And Liam right back around the outside maintains that position. So 17 to go. This time by, you can make it to the end. I think ideally they'll push it 1 or 2 further laps if they can. But you can make it to the end from here. Are there going to be any takers? Yes, we do see 2 people dive in. Strauss and Stritt. Oh. Oh. Was there contact between the 2? There was definitely smoke. Nope. Just a bit of a locking of the brakes. No contact whatsoever. So a clean pit in for David Straight and Matthias Strauss. It's now Lal to the point once again. 16 to go. And here we go. Lal gonna come to the pits. Stays to the left of that blend line. He might have cut it a bit close, but I think he is okay on the speed limit. Now Ifting to the point in turn 1. Liam wants no sign of any sort of clean air on the front of his nose. He wants to save fuel, make it as far as possible to take the least amount of fuel as possible. Oh! Ifting gonna go defensive there, almost throwing a block on Liam. And those 2 battling for track position. I think both of them are going to come in this time around. Liam definitely coming in. Yes, he is. And Ifting. Oh, easy, easy, easy. And they slow it down. Ifting locks the rears, but makes it to the pit lane speed limit. Pulls into the box. Nice and late, perfectly playing by the league rules. You get 3 pit stalls in and out, and you must not start turning until you're 6 stalls away. Stay in the fast lane, perfect. There's Liam, Sheridan Wade, Matthias Strauss, I think that just crossed. No, that's a different car, that was Matty Simpson. Matthias Strauss is all the way here, clears Nate Fields for the 5th position. Great pit cycle by Liam to hold on to the lead. Matty Simpson running the high side. He is a lap car. That is not for position. So once requested, within 10 to go. Matty will have to move out of the way, and Liam is going to do the weave and the snake to break the draft. Aman Lal to the inside now of Simpson. Oh, he's going to have a look at Liam as well, but decides better off it. Oh, Avethink almost got his nose chopped off right there by Matty Simpson. Whew, that was close. Take a look at this. Oh, almost got crossed up as well. And that was almost very bad for the championship for Rodin. As he now clears Matty Simpson, so a bit of a sketchy situation. With 13 to go, Aman Lau and Liam O'Sullivan going for the lead, going for the Indy 250 win. Across the line is going to be Lal. Oh, and he shuts the door on Liam very aggressively. Riding on board with Strauss. Of course, the points going into this race, as we should grab a different camera angle to not have two overlays across each other. Strauss is the furthest back, so David Stritt is in prime position to challenge Avethink for the championship, but Stritt is running 6th, Avethink is running 3rd, so you do the math. At the moment it's going to be Avethink's championship. As we have a titanic battle for the lead here at the front of the field. Gotta be careful, guys, you have a championship contending teammate right in your mirror. You don't want to cut it too close. Of course, a final reminder about the presenting sponsor for the race. This race being run in memory of Richard Kelbaugh, who was a big supporter of the Tunnel to Tower Foundation. So make sure to check it out at t2t.org. I'll put it up on the screen here. t2t.org to learn more about the Tunnel to Towers Foundation for 9/11 survivors. And to go, 25 miles to decide the winner and the championship. Avethink running 3rd, he is in position to win it. The championship, that is. The race lead and the race win is up for grabs too, but at the moment it's most likely to go between Liam and Aman. As Avethink now right around Lal, who loses 2 spots down the straight. And Avethink challenging on the high side, keeping the momentum rolling. There seem to be next to no marbles up on the top side, so it's very much possible to run up there. As we have 9 laps to go. Liam once again edging a nose across the line. Lal to the inside. He's going to make it 3 wide. And Avethink thinks about the championship. He backs off. Very wisely indeed. And the gloves are well and truly off for those guys. And I can tell you guys, as the team owner, my back is getting a little bit sweaty calling the action up here. As Liam just glued to that inside line. He very much likes that, especially in qualifying trim. But he's putting it to good use in race trim as well. Now, here we go, 7 laps to go. This is really where you're going to have to set yourself up for the final couple of laps. Historically, since 2022, when this track came out, every single finish, the outside line always gets an absolute massive run down the front straight. So if you can line yourself up properly, you get a big run down the front straight. If you get a nose up on the high line, then cut back down to the inside. We'll go on board here with Aman Lal to show you guys what I mean. Actually, we'll go on board with Avethink. So the line Liam is running, if you're running second in line and following the leader, right now you pop in behind. Just like this, you can very clearly get a big run and be in contention for the win. So just because Liam is running that low line does not guarantee him the win, as he almost slides up into Rodin. So that is going to be something to watch in the next 6 laps or so. You're going to want to be second starting the final lap. You want to make the move into turn 3 ideally. If you have to make it in turn 1, you can also do that and then deploy the massive snake. But as mentioned, the favorite, the best chance, the best shot at winning the race is going to be into turn 3. Joseph Newgarden style around the outside of Pato O'Ward in 2024. That's the moves you need to make to win this race. As we have 5 laps to go, 12.5 miles. And at the moment, Strid is going to come up just short on that championship. Efting with the most wins this season, Strid with the second most wins with 3. And there's 2 wins for Strauss, so 5-3-2. Basically in order of the championship battle as well. So 5 wins for Efting, 3 for Strid, 2 for Strauss. It's going to be critical for one of them to add another one to it to be in contention against Efting, but at the moment it's a wall of VOR cars that they need to get through for Strauss and Strid. So it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to get there, and I honestly doubt there will be. Just by the way the 3 drivers at the front have been racing. And we got final stops for Sheridan Wade, Mike West. Jason Lowe has already made his way down the pits as well. So here we go, 3 laps to go. 7.5 miles. And Efting is doing a perfect job of holding on to the lead, but I just know Liam O'Sullivan is trying to pressurize Efting to the low side, charging up his own hybrid, and he is just setting himself up for that run down the front straight. He knows the outside line, just like he's doing right here. This is a perfect demonstration of what you need to do. And he's going to pop out, and he's going to be oh so close across the line. Just imagine if that was the last lap. So this is a good general repetition of the finish. 2 laps to go. On board with championship leader and champion-elect as well, Roden Efting. 1.5 laps to go down the back straight. O'Sullivan and Lowe both to the outside line. 3 wide entering turn 3, 2 wide going through it. And here we go. Out of turn 4, setting up the white flag lap is Liam O'Sullivan. Big run off the corner, and look at the run he's getting. It's oh so close at the line. 0.003 at the line is the distance. And Liam is ripping that top side as we have a slow car on the apron warm-up lane. Efting on the inside, O'Sullivan in the middle. Law looking for a gap to shoot. Not gonna get there. It's gonna have to migrate to the top. Moves to the bottom. The 2 VOR cars at the front, O'Sullivan and Efting going for the win. Efting has a car length in front. And that was just a slight bit of hesitation by Liam O'Sullivan. Is that going to cost him the win? I think it will, and it is Roden Efting winning the race and the championship in his first effort throughout the season. The first time he races the Indy 250 in this series. First start for a rookie, and he gets away with the win. Not bad. And Roden Efting is your season 29 champion. Unofficially, of course. And Liam O'Sullivan comes up just short. 0.014 is the margin of victory. So here we go, out of turn 4. Slowing it right down to the finish, and look at Strauss just in the background. He thinks this is the Freedom 100, but unfortunately he comes just short. And there you go, that's the race. So once again, 0.014 seconds is the margin of victory between Rodin Evting and Liam O'Sullivan. And then Aman Lowe was only 0.043 seconds behind. Strauss 0.056. So everybody from the top 4 within 0.056 seconds of the win. So let's dive into your race results from the Indy 250 here at the Speedway. Rodin Evting wins in front of both of his teammates, Liam O'Sullivan and Man Lau. Of course, Rodin also locks up the championship. It's a bit too trigger happy on the button there. Strauss and Stritt complete the top 5. Stritt and Strauss both coming just short of the championship. Both of those drivers did a fantastic job throughout the season to get wins. And dominant drives in some cases even as well, but unfortunately come up just short. Dan Inch, great drive to 6th. Milan Vogelsang, anonymous throughout the race, finishes 7th. David Zaleski, Nate Fields, and Matty Simpson complete the top 10. Then moving on to the next page, it's Mike West, Sheridan Wade, who got collected by Jason Lowe at the pit entry. Rick Loveson in 13th, Jason in 14th, and Stefan Harding driving the Richard Kelbaugh car on the pace lap, classified as 15th. But of course, that's not the point. Of course, sad couple of weeks here as we learned the passing of Richard Kelbaugh on February 21st. Hopefully we put on a good show, at least for any friends and family members that might be watching. Of course, thoughts and praise are with all of you guys. But yeah, that was the season finale. Season 29 is in the books, round 13 complete. We'll bring in some interviewees as we got a whole host of drivers in the waiting room. All the podium finishers, all the VOR boys. We'll just send a quick invite to some other members that might want to talk to us. Again, this is not an obligation. This is completely free for them to decide to do or not. So we'll bring in the champion first and then see what we got. Hey Rodin, gefeliciteerd jongen, even in het Nederlands. We got to do the interview in English, of course, for our friends here watching the stream. Congratulations on the race win. I'm 99.9% sure you also clinched the championship with that, with the drop weeks in effect. So congratulations on both of those. Just talk us through your season and then as well the finish to the end there with your teammates.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you. And such a hectic race here. So let's talk about the season. Like, this is my first time. This is my first time in this league. Mostly doing ovals. Lots of new guys in here, which I didn't know real well too yet. So lots of nice guys. Just first of all, I want to say thank you to David, Jason, Mike West. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting someone. For just hosting this league and making it as fun as it is every Sunday for me. So that's first of all. And then, I mean, this season just fell together for me, like most of the races. I mean, the first ones were difficult for me, really getting the hang of it, the ovals with like the colder temperature. But I think towards the end, I've managed to really, well, I'd say master it. Like, I've won a lot of the last races with some pretty good competitors like Liam, Aman, Matthias, David. So yeah, just an amazing season for me.
And you got the biggest mover of the race as well, so that's another thing to boost your ego, I suppose.
Yeah, because of my skill issue in qualifying.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. Those are your own words.
Okay.
No, but of course we don't know much about it next season yet, but hopefully we see you there. Go out and have some beers, Hertog Jan for the win, for you, I would assume. So we'll...
Yeah, that's one other thing I'd like to say, and that's we're racing with something else in our minds today, and that's Richard Kelbaugh, which we unfortunately lost a couple of days ago, which has been a big member of the iRacing community, friends with lots of guys in this league. So yeah, just rest in peace, Richard.
Absolutely. Thank you as well for remembering that. It's very touching. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Go out and celebrate your win, Rodin, and we'll see you maybe next season. Whenever the schedule is announced, we'll probably sit and talk about that. So thank you.
I will. Thank you.
All right, let's see who else we got. Second place was Liam, so we'll bring him in. Hello, Liam. Congrats on second. Just came up short. Just talk us through the finish from your perspective.
Yeah, I kind of lackadaisically gave up the inside on about lap 92, 93 because I thought you could just pass and repass quite easily with the hybrid. Probably the wrong call. I think I would have beaten Rod into the line if I just... Aman sort of had his nose on the inside and I couldn't get a run coming off of 4 till quite late because he was there. I think if Aman wasn't there, I would have beaten Rod into the line. Just, it was the 14,000, so I needed just to... If I tucked in, I think I would have quite convincingly had it, but no, I mean, Rodney drove well, and to do that while trying to win the championship as well, having that pressure was not easy. Me and Aman were never going to lift out of when it's 3 wide because, well, we're not fighting for a championship, so no, he did really well there, and yeah, it was a great race overall.
Perfect. Well, I don't have too much to ask because I think we both know what's really important here, as Rodin touched upon in the interviews. Wasn't planning on doing that, but if you would like to share a quick word for Richard as well. Of course, I know you are really an active member in the series, making sporadic starts, but maybe you'd like to say something nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Richard, he's been around for a load of years, and he's been a big member of the community for, I don't know, but well before I even touched an IndyCar. I mean, he's that guy you see in officials every week or just constantly doing them. He was so active, and especially with such a tight sort of knit and smaller community on iRacing that we have, it's important to have them type of guys, and he was one of them definitely, where never really had sort of maybe the limelight in races, but he was always there, always competitive, always showed up, and was a really nice guy. Like I said, I didn't know him personally, but he's one of them guys who you always saw around and knew was going to race you clean. And I mean, yeah, it was obviously a bit of a shock to the system to hear that news, but no, we put on a good show. Incident-free race there for him today. I mean, Stefan nice to see him running that out in front of the field. But yeah, I mean, hopefully everyone who knows him is doing well, and yeah, all condolences from me go to him and his family and everyone who knows him.
All right, thank you, Liam. Go and celebrate that podium for the entire team. We'll talk later.
Yep.
All right, that was Liam. Let's bring in Aman Lal. Hello, Aman Lal. Congratulations on the podium. Just talk me through the final couple of laps for you, because I saw you trying to make it 3 wide on a couple of occasions, deciding not to stick your nose in there. Just talk us through your thought process there, with Rodin, of course, going for the championship and Liam going balls to the walls for the win.
Yeah, I think Liam touched on it. You know, initially we thought it would be quite a lot easier than it was to re-overtake someone. So yeah, that's why when they were side by side, I kind of tried to go for it, but you know, realized quite early on the straights that you don't have enough speed to overtake. So I just kind of had to back out. And I think at one point I was even on the grass.
Yeah, of course, that finish was very exciting. We got the team 1, 2, 3. So unbiased commentator here. Very happy to see that. Next season's schedule isn't announced yet. Do you have any plans for that yet, or haven't you really thought about it yet?
Yeah, if there's another season, I'd be up for racing more. This season, I've not raced as much as I was planning to initially. So, you know, it would be nice to see another season, and these races are quite fun. You know, everyone races each other quite clean, especially today. Like, we didn't even have a safety car, so that was quite nice to see.
Absolutely. Final question for you. I know you're a bit new to the IndyCar iRacing community as a whole, so maybe you may not have known him that well, but I did still want to give you the opportunity to say something if you would like for Richard Kelbaugh and his family.
Yeah, it's obviously I've not, like you just said, I've not been around for a long time, but we did a couple of races together, and he was a nice driver, nice guy, and the Discord as well. So yeah, it's just sad to hear what happened to him.
Absolutely, and of course, if his family is watching, we hope you can find some peace and comfort in these times. Of course, we're all very sad for you guys, and to lose Richard in the league. Of course, as we've mentioned countless times, he's the 5th most starter in this series in particular, and he's done many races on iRacing. So he will be dearly missed by many. And, but that wraps up the top 3 interviews. Just waiting on a few words from David Stritt, Stefan Harding, and Dan Ench if they would like to join us here. Man, I'm going to let you go and celebrate the 1, 2, 3 finish. Great job. We'll speak later about other races coming our way, which I'll get into here on the broadcast here shortly. But congratulations once again, and see you later.
Yeah, thank you. Speak to you in a bit.
All right, we'll just give it a quick second. Waiting for David and Stefan, Dan Ench maybe. I think those 3 are the within the iRacing International IndyCar League. Certainly, I think those 3 are the main closest ones, at least involved with organizing that special start procedure. So we'll just give them a moment. Hopefully, we can get to speak with them. But yeah, of course, as I mentioned, the upcoming schedule hasn't been announced yet. It has been discussed behind the scenes. I have no clue what is the plan, so I wish I could say something about it. But what I can tell you guys is there will be a next season of the International IndyCar League. How many races, which races, what the starting date is, what the race distances are, I could not tell you even if I wanted to. So we'll have to wait over the next day or 2 to find out more. In the meantime, though, I will quickly double check if the standings have already been updated. And yes, they have. So Roden Eefting, champion by 38 points over Matthias Strauss. And then tied for second is David Stritt. That tiebreaker broken on top 5s that were not drop weeks, as far as I can see here. So those are the championship top 3. Jason Lowe does secure that 4th position in the championship. Ryan Bowles, by not showing up, loses that spot, unfortunately, by 4 points, drops to 5th. For those wondering, Richard did run a couple of races earlier in the season. Finished 12th in the end of things. As mentioned, he has 1 pole position. Is the 5th all-time starter in the series, and he will be dearly missed. No reaction from any other people who would maybe like to speak to us about the race, about the series, about Richard. So that is unfortunately going to wrap up coverage here for season 29. Once again, this race ran in memory of Richard. Again, one of the foundations he really supports, Tunnel to Towers. T2T.org. Make sure to check it out for him and for his family as well. Just running out of things to say about it. Unfortunately, it's just also sad. Seriously, like I said in the beginning, losing one of your own in a way. Of course, we all share the same passion for sim racing. It's never easy. So rest easy, Richard. And from all the drivers, all the people that worked on the broadcast this season, Howie Burrows, Jack James, Sebastian Kinder, myself. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll have more news on the next season here for this series in the coming days, and you'll be hearing from us once that comes out. So thanks once again. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good rest of your Sunday, everybody. Take care.